Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Greatly Destined Podcast, episode 9. That's a big deal. We're almost at 10. This is episode 9 of the Greatly Destined Podcast, and today I have a very special guest. I have a guest who has a unique lifestyle, unique career path. You know, she's doing it for herself. She's doing it differently. Her name is Isabella, and she's a freelance model. Isabella, can you tell the people exactly what a freelance model is for anybody in the Milwaukee area who wants to get into modeling?
So, a freelance model is someone who gets work and bookings on their own. They don't work directly with an agency. They manage themselves. They represent themselves. They go over their own contracts. They just basically do it all themselves.
Yeah. Is it easier being a freelance model?
I've been signed to an agency, and
Mind if you pull the microphone a little closer to you, make it nice and tight. Thank you.
I've been signed to an agency as well. I would say it's a lot more work freelancing, just because an agency, you know, they can send you bookings and they can send you castings, but I think I like freelancing a lot more because I get to say so in what work I can take. I get to say so in my pay and when I get paid, because in the industry, models, they usually don't get paid until 3 to 6 months, or even sometimes even more.
3 to 6 months after their shoot?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
How do people get away with that?
I think the modeling industry doesn't have like a union for models, so I think that's a big factor as to why, brands and clients get away with paying models so late. It's not the case for every single model in the agency, but it's still the majority.
That's crazy. Why have people not thought of creating a union yet?
Honestly, I have no idea. That is a good question.
That's insane.
Yeah, when I didn't know that at first, and when I first found that out, I'm like, how are models able to make a living off that? Like,
I heard it's hard to make a living as a full-time model.
yes, unless you're known or booked and busy, or you have a really good agency behind you, it's gonna be hard.
Yeah. Who were some models that you looked up to when you were younger that made you want to go into the industry?
I know this might be Tyra Banks.
Why is that a problem? Why do you feel ashamed to say Tyra Banks?
Because a lot of
She gets scrutiny, right?
Yeah.
Because she's not very nice.
No.
But what makes her to be not very nice? Is it the things she says to her aspiring models, like as a coach?
Well, if you ever seen America's
I've seen some, and she's not. Yeah, but isn't that what it is though? Like, don't you have to fit like a certain look? And if you're not at that look, your modeling coach, you're kind of like coach. You're like, what are you doing, girl? Like, get it together. Isn't that what it's about?
Yeah, you have a certain look, or you have to be willing to change your look up at times.
You think that affects people, like on a subconscious level? You think like it can affect the model's self-esteem that he or she's constantly having to edit the way they look?
Of course, because it could make them feel like, oh, am I not good enough? Do I not fit the standard? Am I not pretty enough? So I feel like that could like affect someone's mental health if one day, your agent says, hey, you have to cut all your hair off, or hey, you have to change your hair to this color or that color. So I feel like that could start to affect someone's mental health.
I remember I was watching I was watching this clip of America's Next Top Model on YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
and Tyra was going in on this girl because she had like a gap tooth,
Yeah.
and she was like, she was telling her she had to get that fixed or she wasn't going to go very far. And the girl was like, well, I like my gap tooth. I think it makes me unique. And then Tyra and the other judges were just going in on her. I'm like, damn, this is not for the weak.
And you know what's crazy? Nowadays, agencies they look for unique features like that now. They consider that unique gaps. So it's just crazy how things changed within a span of like 10 years.
Why do you think that's changed?
I think
What is it about the industry or society in 2023 that's caused that to change?
I think just, people pushing for a change as well, because, back then the modeling industry, had one look that they wanted and one and only, tall, skinny, basically light skin or
Really?
white. Yes.
Light skin or white?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
What about Naomi Campbell?
She was like one of the first black successful models in the industry, and she helped pave the way for dark skinned models.
Okay. Because I remember as a kid, girls would always sing this one song, do the Naomi Campbell walk, Naomi Campbell walk in school. And that was like the only model I knew, so I thought she was a big deal.
She was a big deal. She was.
Okay. Are there any regions that modeling is kind of a hotbed in? Obviously, Los Angeles will be one of them.
Los Angeles, yes. Definitely New York. I would say even out of the U.S.
Paris.
Definitely, yeah, Paris, London. I would say like those are in like the top.
Is there a modeling experience that you would like to share that kind of made you question things?
Good or bad?
Either. Let's start with bad. It's more exciting.
Yeah, I have a lot of bad modeling experiences, unfortunately. Okay, I'll go. So one time, I want to say this was maybe 2 years ago. I went to a casting that was here in Milwaukee. I thought it was just like a normal, regular casting. But it turned out like after the photographer took like pictures of us, took our pictures, took our videos, he posted it to his OnlyFans without us knowing. And so I had this random man in my DMs, don't know how he got my Instagram, saying, hey, I'll pay you for the rest of your threesome video.
Wait, what?
Yes, I was confused at first. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not in any video like that. And he went on to say, he went on to say, you're on OnlyFans. He went on to say the person's OnlyFans account, and he said, you're on his account. And I had no idea I was on his account. The other models were on his OnlyFans account as well. We had no idea that this man photographer, he had a OnlyFans, he had a Pornhub. We had no idea he was posting us onto his OnlyFans.
Lord.
Right, and if I never responded to that DM, and the only reason I responded to that DM because the man kept commenting under my pictures, just saying, I'll pay you for the video, and it wasn't until then, like, I went to my DMs and finally answered him on my DMs. If I never did that, I never would have found out, and the other models would have never found out either. I was the one that told them. And I created like this group chat on like Snapchat with all the models and like, hey, did you guys know, like, he posted us on his OnlyFans? And they were like, no. And we had to, like, threaten to sue him. So he
Y'all should have sued him. Gotten that paper.
See, the thing is, I believe we signed a photos released form.
Oh.
Yes, so,
Is that the downside of not being with an agency at times?
yes, because it's like you never know what you're walking into, and you don't have, like, your agency. So you're like, okay, this is a legit casting. You're safe. Nothing's going to happen.
So you just kind of go at your own will, and like
Most of the
you
time,
don't have anyone there with you to make sure anything is cool and nothing happens.
most of the time, I take someone with me. So
Okay.
but if it's like a photographer I worked before in the past, then like it's no problem.
That's bizarre. I've heard a lot of stories like that there's a certain sector of the modeling industry that's kind of connected to the porn industry, and people, they can recruit through there. Like, they can recruit in that sector. Mm-hmm. You think that's how they do it? Like, they try to, like, they'll do subtle things like what happened to you to see who will be more willing to come back, and then that's how they'll recruit people. Have you seen that per se?
Well, with the man the photographer I just told you about, I did like do some digging on him, and I found like he had like this agency or whatever. I'm not gonna name his agency. And he had models, and I went a little bit deeper, and I found out like he would have this saying, going down the rabbit hole. And I'm like, I have no idea, like, what is that? Like, what does that mean? And like, the man who told me that he posted us on his OnlyFans, he gave me this number. So I looked up the number on Google, and it was basically a gentleman's club. Mm. And that was like what going down the rabbit hole meant. And so he had models signed to his agency, and like making the connections, I think they probably worked for the gentleman's club.
That's what I was trying to get at, yeah. Mm-hmm. And do you think there are people who would try to find girls through the modeling industry?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Okay. Do you think there's anything that the modeling industry can change to be more suitable for its workers?
Yeah, like I would say, starting at like number one, paying models within a good time frame, not taking so long, like fighting for the models to get paid faster, like, because I know, it may be the clients and the brands that are taking so long because the agencies wait on the payment from their clients, and then they take their cut, and then the models get the rest. So I feel like agencies could push more on models, not waiting so long to get paid. Also, protecting their models more, because I have heard so many stories about models being sexually assaulted by photographers.
Yeah.
Or just being abused in some way, whether it's mentally or physically. So I think the industry needs to do a lot more better on that. And I would say also being more diverse, because a lot of agencies nowadays, they like to scream, "Oh, we're all about diversity. We are diverse. We are a diverse agency." But like you go to their websites, you go to their model boards, and you only really see one black model or
Really? So is this racism or colorism?
I want to say it's racism.
It's racism? We're still dealing with that? And I thought we were past this, like, light, white, dark. I knew, obviously, like, black people still got the shorter end of the stick, but, like, in terms of beauty standards, I thought we weren't doing that anymore. We're still rolling like that?
Yeah, apparently I thought like the industry was changing too. I mean, they changed a little bit, but you know, a lot of these, it's still hard for black models out here.
Do you think there's a difference when it's a male model and a female model? Because I guess I can kind of see what you're saying with female models. I don't see too many dark-skinned female models, but when it comes to black models, all I see is dark-skinned male models. I don't really see any like main light-skinned male models, even in Hollywood.
Wow.
Think about all like that. That's why when I'm thinking about it, I felt like we were past that. Me and my brother and my sister were actually having a conversation about this the other day. When it comes to colorism, I think black males escape the negative perceptions on dark skin, because dark skin is perceived, or darkness is perceived like masculine, right? So it's like, obviously, like men, they're supposed to wear darker clothes, like black, navy, blue. That's what's supposed to look nice on them. So the same thing will be like with skin, I would assume,
Right.
and that's why you see when the image of male masculine beauty, a lot of times they would go for that dark-skinned man. That's what I was thinking. So is it not the same with women too?
See, wow, I never really paid attention to male modeling a whole lot.
Even
so
actors.
even seeing that, like, yeah, I have not seen a lot of light-skinned male models in the industry that get as much light. For dark-skinned female models, I believe, like, they need to, like, the industry looks for a certain look. And if you don't have that certain look, you won't get signed.
It's a very, like, Eastern African look. Yeah, they go for, when it is a dark-skinned girl, it's like a African genotype. Oof. That would be tough. I'm kind of sensitive. I couldn't be in the industry. Has that messed with you?
I would say, yeah, it's definitely messed with me. It's so many times. It has been so many times where I just wanted to quit, or I just felt like, okay, am I not good enough in my craft? It's definitely messed with my mind at times. You really need to have a strong mind once you're in the industry, because you're going to get told by people like, you know, you're not good enough, or, you know, you don't have that model look. You shouldn't be a model.
Jesus. All right, I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay.
I want you to be honest with me. No
Okay.
cappuccino, no capping, no capricola, none of that. All right? How you feel about plus-size models?
How do I feel about plus size?
Yeah, how do you feel about plus-size models? I know it's kind of, you have multiple perspectives on it. I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with it.
I don't have an issue. Why did I see that it's like a controversy? Like, well, plus-size models, you see people talking about it all the time on social media. What's the big deal? Why do you feel like people are damn near almost insulted?
I have no idea, because a lot of people are like, models are supposed to be skinny. Models need to be skinny. We don't want to see plus size. Modeling is for skinny people and skinny tall people. I don't see the big deal
At all.
at all.
And it's kind of men who talk about that the most, from what I'm seeing. Why you roll your eyes when I say that?
I don't know if I have a
Okay. I see. You feel like men express their opinion too much. That's probably why the eyes was rolling.
Not that, but I'm just like, really? Like, what's the big deal? Like, you guys aren't the models. Unless you're like a male model, you aren't doing the job.
I just feel like there's a new perception of beauty that we're starting to see nowadays. And any type of change, there's always going to be pushback. Even something is like modeling, like, it has nothing to do with you.
Right.
But you've seen the change that's being done in front of you. So a lot of people are going to have something to say about it. It's crazy. That's just one of those, that's just another example of like the picking at the way people look. Is that one of the things you would want to change about the modeling industry if you had more power in it?
I mean, yeah, definitely. Like, the modeling industry, they will pick at someone about anything basically on their body. Like, if you have any scars.
But what are you supposed to do about a scar?
I wish I knew.
I got you.
But I guess the modeling agency, they want they want basically close to perfection, or what they think is perfection. So, when you're a model, you have to take care of your skin. You have to make sure you're eating a certain diet. Make sure you're taking care of your hair. Make sure that you're working out. I would say like those are like some of the main focuses.
Are there any stereotypes that you have to face when people know you're a model?
I guess maybe models not being the smartest. I would say that might be a stereotype. Or them maybe being easy, or
Easy, really? Models that's a stereotype. I figure. Maybe if you have money, like, that's the stereotype. Like, easy if you're a baller.
Yeah, like easy, okay. Easy catch, easy to get. I would say those two. I can't really think of anything else.
Is there anything that you've seen? Have you seen any friends been heavily damaged from the industry? Because I was doing some reading, and a lot of models deal with drug abuse. Is this you haven't heard of this?
I've heard of models, having eating disorders or being sexually assaulted, but not drug abuse.
You haven't heard of drug abuse?
No. That's wow.
It was because of the depression that comes with it, I would imagine. Yeah.
Yeah.
The depression that comes with it. Have you seen that? Like, a lot of bad mental health in the model industry amongst your friends, colleagues, people you've worked with?
Of course. Because a lot of times you're getting told no. You're getting rejected a lot of times, and like whenever you get like a booking or a casting, you might think, this is finally the one. This might be the finally the booking that I get, and it helps take off my career, and then you don't get it, and it's like, okay, you kind of start to spiral because you're tired of being told no. You're tired of feeling like you're not good enough.
That happens a lot in acting. I can't imagine, like, something like you're auditioning. This happens all the time in acting. Imagine you're an actor, right? You're an aspiring actor. It's your dream to be in Hollywood or whatever. I know, I saw that. It's your dream to be in Hollywood, and so put yourself in this situation. Like, you're working on your craft. You're doing auditions. You're doing well for yourself. You get a gig. You have a character and everything. You got a cast. You got it ready to go. You're at set. You're shooting season 1. Doesn't even make air. They scrap it. That happens a lot. And now you're just another auditionee, just audition after audition after. You were right there. Mm-hmm. It was on network television and everything. It was going to be on Fox, the Fox channel. And they scrapped it because the network didn't think it was good enough or whatever the case may be. Imagine that.
Yeah, actually in the modeling industry, like, when you get booked for a client, you could arrive to that photo shoot or whatever, and you could be on set, and then the client could be like, "Oh no, we don't need you anymore. We don't want you anymore. You can go home. You good."
I saw that on a TV show somewhere. Like, they just in the middle of set, they had a new model walk in. I think it was the show Empire. Mm-hmm. Have you watched that show? Or you heard of it?
Yeah, I did in the past. I watched it.
Yeah, I think it was that show. Like, they had so there was an original model. They booked her. Mm-hmm. She said she couldn't do it anymore. So then they got a model replacement. Mm-hmm. They're shooting it. She's feeling herself. She's taking capturing the shots, getting all these pictures taken of her. And then in the middle of the set, the original model that they wanted to book, like, she was available, so she just came into the studio, and they were like, "Oh, you're here now. Okay, good. All right, thank you. We don't need you anymore." And it was like that. Yep. And she's like, wait, what? So that's real? That actually happens?
Yes. It's usually common, especially with, like, the big brands, even at castings. Say your agency got you a casting, you go to a casting for a very big brand, they could be like, "Oh, the casting director doesn't want to see you," or everybody left for the day.
So they flex, they lie, they're not straight up with it?
No.
See, that's the worst part. Why do you think they're not just upfront? Well, that's every industry. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, people they don't tell you we're no longer interested. Right. They just stop returning calls. It's aggravating. Even in my industry, I'm in TV journalism and reporting. Mm-hmm. But I remember one of the Milwaukee Bucks, I wanted to interview him. Mm-hmm. I met him at one of his basketball camps, and I was doing a story at his basketball camp, and I wanted to interview him, and I was talking to his manager, mm-hmm. right? So, and I'm a rookie reporter, so this is like my first year doing this.
Right.
And his manager gave me the green, and I asked his manager, I have a show on PBS that I'm on, and I'm looking to, like, kind of expand into sports, and I like to have your client on my show. Mm-hmm. And he's like, "Oh yeah, he loved that. Yeah, man. What's your number? Yeah, let's get it going." And then I'm over here like, "Are you serious? I'm about to interview a Milwaukee Buck, like, on TV. This is gonna be huge for my career." So then, time comes. I'm trying to get it going. I'm trying to set it up. I already asked my producer if it's okay. Producer gives me the green light. So I hit up the Milwaukee Buck. I hit his manager back up. I'm like, "Okay, so when do you think you and so-and-so can come to the studio for us to shoot this interview?" Nothing. That's aggravating. So I can only imagine, and it's expected to happen though. Mm-hmm. So you need to just kind of, like, build that into your psyche that those things will happen, and you just have to continue pushing. But it's a good thing though that if it does happen, you know that you're good enough to at least even be in that environment in the first place. It's just, you just have to keep pushing to actually make it happen. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because if people didn't believe in you, they wouldn't have asked you to be that big time model's replacement. You know what I mean? So it's definitely one of those things where you need to keep pushing. You said you wanted to be an aspiring actor?
Yes.
I feel like that's common. A lot of models and actors go hand in hand. You see that a lot?
Yeah. It's basically some modeling is acting itself. So, I see a lot of models wanting to get into modeling. Wanting to get into acting as well. For me, just acting is something, like, I've always wanted to do as well. Really doesn't have nothing to do just because I'm in modeling. I want to do acting too. Just always something I've been interested in. Low
key, since I was a kid, I've always wanted, like, act too. That'll probably be the coolest out of all of like public entertainment jobs, acting will probably be the best.
Yeah, like I definitely want to be in like a Marvel movie.
A Marvel movie?
Yes.
Why a Marvel movie?
I just like action movies. It's
Yeah,
so fun.
That would be your thing, is action movie? My thing will be drama.
That too.
My thing will be drama. I want to be I feel like I can still pull off high school, but I can feel like I want to be the kid who gets kicked out for selling drugs. And I'm like, I feel like I would destroy a drug dealing character. Seriously though. I want to play that so bad. Is there any type of character you want to play?
Maybe like the villain.
The villain. I see you as a villain. What would your superpower be?
My superpower? I haven't thought about that.
Got to think about that.
Mm-hmm.
If I was what you see me as? You think I'm more of a superhero or supervillain? I want to be a villain.
I see you as a villain.
I like that. I like that. A lot of people say that. I like that. Somebody said if I was in a movie, she can see me as like the evil boss. Mm-hmm. That's the character I'd want to play. I feel like those are the more dynamic characters. They're more fun. Mm-hmm. You feel me?
You know, sometimes the villain is just misunderstood.
Why you say that?
Because it's either like, you know, in some of the movies or whatever, you know, you see the villain had some type of hard upbringing, or they may have like lost their entire family, or they may have been on their own.
Yeah.
And so,
that's villains in real life for the most part. They never really come from loving places.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of those villains in those movies, they have like the idea's not bad. It's just the way they go about it. It's kind of like Thanos, wasn't he? You know the idea of Thanos, like why he was he's so evil. It's because he wanted to like wipe out half the world because he was saying like we have too many people on the planet. Like if we eliminate most people, like we could eliminate problems like poverty, hunger, et cetera, et cetera. It's like, oh,
like
he's making sense. Well, maybe we should have just like wipe him out. Like, I don't know, mate. Maybe we should have thought about something better. Like, I don't know, but it'll be cool to be a villain. What's your favorite movie? Who's your favorite? Let me ask a better question. Who's your favorite villain character from any movie?
My favorite villain character? Yikes. I'm not sure if I have one.
Really?
I'm not sure. Like, yeah, I really like this villain.
Do you watch Tyler Perry movies?
Yes.
This is gonna sound bad, but did you ever watch the Tyler Perry Temptations movie?
Yes.
Remember that one dude that like I forgot what his name was, but you know what the premise of the movie was like? It was like a woman and her husband who've known each other since like they were 3 years old, and they moved out to the big city. She got bored of him, and then like she went and ran off for like this like bad boy, crazy ass dude, and he ended up giving her like HIV at the end of it. Was crazy. Yeah, you watched it. That's kind of like, I don't know why, but that dude's like, he's like my favorite super villain. He just played the role so well. Like, he made it so believable. You feel me? He's played that role so well. It was insane. But I feel like you get a lot of hate though.
Yeah, you get a lot of hate, and I hear like for some actors, it sometimes may be hard to come out of that role because they basically put themselves into it.
Yeah,
that's tough.
I can imagine it, because in the summer of 2020 during quarantine, I started like doing cameos or like practicing, just doing like monologues by myself, like with my phone. And I would like try to like do sad scenes, and then you could feel that sadness linger for like 5 minutes after you're done. I'm like, oh damn, So like when you see these actors like talk about how they were depressed for months after their shooting a movie, it's like I could believe that now, because if I'm feeling some type of way for 5 minutes after getting in character for the camera for 10 minutes, I can only imagine what happens to them after getting in character for 10 months.
Right.
You feel me? That's nuts. That's completely nuts. Is there any city, let's go back to modeling. Is there any city you could see yourself moving to expand your modeling career?
I would say New York. I used to say LA, but the few times I've been down to LA, it's just a very heavy energy down there that I felt. It's
Heavy.
nice, but the energy is like just heavy.
Heavy. Describe what you mean by heavy.
It's like I could just like feel it, like emotionally, just like this heaviness on me. And I could just feel like
So
the energy.
You couldn't pinpoint exactly what the energy was. You just felt that it was a lot of whatever energy you were feeling. It was a lot of it.
Yeah,
it was heavy.
Yeah, it was heavy, and I know it was like negative for sure.
I hear that a lot about Los Angeles. How does that happen?
I guess because, they say a lot of, dark things go on in Hollywood. And then on top of that, there's so many homeless people out there. So I feel like those could be the two reasons why it's so heavy, because there's a lot going on behind the scenes that you don't know of.
That's crazy. So that spirit kind of lingers into the public.
Mm-hmm. The darkness, the heaviness.
Damn. How's the homelessness over there? Is it really as bad as people say it is?
Yes.
I saw a video. I forgot what street it is. It was literally a whole street was dedicated to just homeless people in tents. Like, is this America?
Yeah, it's sad, and it's like, it's kind of the same thing in New York with the homeless people. There's a lot out there too as well.
In New York?
Mm-hmm.
Damn. I don't understand how they can make all those movies in LA with all the homeless people around. Like, you cross the street, it's Beverly Hills, where all these celebrities are living their grandest life. You go a block down, and some dude who hasn't eaten in a week.
Right. It's crazy.
That's so crazy. Isabella, to wrap things up, can you tell any aspiring model a route that you could advise them to take to get their foot into the door?
I would say definitely make connections with people. Make connections with photographers, because a lot of the times photographers, they can get you bookings with brands as well, especially if that photographer is an in-house photographer for that brand. I would say make connections with models. Make sure you have a social media, because, that's how a lot of times people find me. They find me through my social media. They find me through TikTok, Instagram. They find my email. So I would say be active on social media in some type of way. I would also, say have a strong mind, and don't let anyone try to sell you a dream, because a lot of people will try to do that. They will say hey, if you work with me, we can make a lot of money. Also look at your contract. I feel like that is a big factor, because, you could have an agency that wants to sign you, and you could be so happy about that, but then you see you don't really read the contracts, and then you find out later that you have to pay the agency everything back that they loaned you. Or
Damn.
And that's how some models end up in debt. They end up $10,000 in debt, $25,000 in debt.
What do they loan you money for?
Flights, hotels, cabs, meals.
And they be taking the most expensive flights, going to the most expensive hotels too, probably. So don't do that.
Don't do that. Make sure it is a non-exclusive contract, so you are able to work with other agencies as well. Make sure in the contract you can also get bookings outside of the agency on your own, that you just don't have to depend on the agency for bookings. If you want to do freelancing and you don't want to go the agency route, you want to be freelance model, make sure you're on casting platforms. Make sure you're in even groups on Facebook. Like, say, if you're in Chicago, you can join Chicago modeling Facebook group that they have. They have a Milwaukee modeling Facebook group. Make sure you build that portfolio, because that is the most important thing. That's what you're going to need, is a portfolio, and you're going to need a diverse one with different shots. And I would say, like, you got to make sure this is something, like, you're really passionate about, because, and you really see yourself doing it, and you really see yourself getting far, because it can get hard, and it can, you know, affect your mental health, like we talked about. So you got to train your mind before anything. Yeah.
Well, Isabella, thank you so much. I appreciate you big time. You are the woman. It's inspired me a lot, you know. Thank you for coming on the Greatly Destined Podcast. Thank you guys for tuning into another episode 9 of the Greatly Destined Podcast. We out here. See you next time.